What up, everybody? We're back. Week 3, as my man Super Mario might say, here we go! Let's look at the top 5 things to watch for as we head into Week 3 of another great Crack Kill season. Although the first one pains me. Quick hit number 1. Broken record. I talked about this last week. Injuries! Good grief! Of course, Tua on injured reserve. No comment. Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, and A.J. Brown are all out. Pacheco is out for the foreseeable future. Cooper Kupp, along with Puka. Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, of course, was already out. David Njoku. Is this the worst start for injuries in the history of the league? It's hard to remember anybody being struck by this many injuries, let alone across the entire league in the first 2 weeks. Something to watch for. Why? Why are these injuries happening? Is it the preseason? Is it just that injuries are more common? Well, who knows? If I knew, I'd be able to make a little money betting on it, I'm sure. But just something we got to deal with right now. The one question, though, would this lead to some late season heroics as these injured players return? Fingers crossed for me. Quick hit number 2. Back in business. After a disappointing week 1 for both squads, the businesses were back in week 2. All business. Led by player to watch last week, Marvin Harrison and Chris Godwin. The receivers went off for AB last week. Unfinished business, paced by a 37-point, 4-touchdown effort from Alvin Kamara. That's an all-timer right there. Also 19 from Aiden Hutchinson, 5 sacks. Wow. Hutchinson has been a monster since he's been in the league. Of course, at one point he had more interceptions than sacks, but I think that's just a plus for him. The Heat, though, turns up this week. Unfinished business. Faces a friendly rival, Future Cop, but they have 29 points on the board thanks to the Jets' Thursday night beatdown. All business, other side of the coin. They came out of that beatdown with -4 from Ramondre Stevenson. Not great. We'll see if any business booms this week, which it is, or maybe both, or maybe neither. Maybe they'll both bust. Week 3 on the way. Quick hit number 3, still flying. Superfly TNT 2-0, 5 wins in a row going back to last season. Of course, the last 3 were the run through the playoffs to win the championship. Stomped Shittown last week, scored 139 points, currently second in scoring. Malik Neighbors went off. We'll see if he can maintain that. Of course, the rookie wideout, I think 0 in week 1, and then the big game last week. This week, Superfly takes on perennial doormat and perennial non-rival. No comment. 18 points in the barn thanks to Breece Hall and Bryce Behringer. The Flies, one of only 2 teams who have a chance to start 3-0. Parity is here. It's arrived. Quick hit number 4. Long con. Let's talk about the other team looking to go 3-0. Phil's Fugitives. 2-0. Best starts since a few years ago when they started 3-0 and then lost 13 straight games. One of the worst, except for Future Cup, worst losing streaks in Crack Kills League history. Ended with that collapse, have never recovered, but maybe they finally are starting to recover. And I think they're better equipped because, let's be honest, they bought the right car. He's been tuned up this year. 2 great games for Derek Carr. The 3-headed running back committee that the Fugitives have leaned on, and a legit tight end, maybe one of the few going in the league still, Trey McBride. Could this be the year the Fugitives return to prominence? We'll see. They've got it off to a good start, and 3-0 would either put them alone in first or tied for first with Superfly, depending on the results of that game. Let's look at the other side. Quick hit number 5. Winless. Just 2 teams are winless. Tinfoil Kings and Shittown, but not for lack of effort, especially from the Kings. Kings came up short last week to all business. Marvin Harrison, one of the main reasons for that. And Dak Prescott struggled last week as well. Excuse me, that was Shittown. Dak Prescott struggled. And Shittown, of course, without Christian McCaffrey. Number 1 pick for them out, not a good sign. Shittown's threadbare roster might also be to blame, though, and maybe they'll hit the trade market at some point. The Tinfoil Kings have sputtered thanks to a slow start from Lamar Jackson. I don't think anything any of us expected there. But they could get back on track today as Lamar faces off against the reeling Cowboys. T. Higgins also set to return for the Tinfoil Kings today. See which one of these teams finally gets a first win, or if both sit even further in the basement at 0-3 after this week. Finally, player to watch this week, it's Nico Collins, wide receiver. Collins has emerged as a true threat and maybe if you really think about it, the number one target on the Texans team, even with the new addition of Stephon Diggs. 23 points last week versus a Bears defense that is supposedly good. 14 catches in 2 games, over 250 yards. Collins has looked great. He's a big, strong wide receiver who can get open, and he's got a little bit more speed than people anticipate. We'll see if Nico Collins can feast on the Vikings today. It should be an interesting one for him. That's it for Crack Kills Quick Hits for week 3. Good luck to everybody this week, except Superfly.